Hi, my name is Darren, co-founder of P4P, Passion for Performance, the leading e-assessment and e-portfolio platform in Africa. As part of my journey, I have been selected onto the PSET Post-School Education and Training Cloud launch group. This is an initiative that's been set up by JET Training. And over the past 4 years, they've been researching and exploring different ways in which post-school education and training cloud, a new platform, can be set up to enable education in a digital world. It's a very exciting space to be, and I'm very honored to be on this launch group. As part of the growth, there are a few papers that they've written that I've gone through, and these sessions are talking about or through the different papers. I'm currently talking about the PSET Cloud scenarios for the PSET Future paper. This is a very interesting paper where they have dived into the possible futures for South Africa and what that means in scenarios and what it means for post-school education and training. In their papers, they came up with 4 different types of bridges as an analogy towards what could be in the future. And this is what the discussions are over the next couple of weeks. I'll be talking about each bridge in a bit of detail and my understanding of the bridge and what the scenarios look like in terms of what we can prepare for. Please download the paper in the LinkedIn discussion below, the PSET Scenarios 2021-2030 paper, because when you download it, you can see what I'm talking about, and they've given some really, really good opportunities for you to be able to actually do some scenario planning within your business and within your company to launch your skills development into the future. Good luck with that. This week, we're looking at the bridge too far scenario. Okay, so in the bridge too far scenario, this is the citizen's perspective, or what the citizen will plan the bridge too far. This is where government and technocrats either the governments have cautious relationships with the technocrats, or they hop into bed with technocrats. On the bottom scenario, where we have the economic growth option, it's either low economic growth or high economic growth, depending on the government and depending on how they want to grow their economies. Now, if we look at the first opportunity, where the government has a cautious relationship with technocrats, but the economic growth is low. So here what happens is tech companies are reined in a little bit. So they get the go ahead, to engage within the country, but to a certain level and not too far. Tech supplements access for citizens. So on a cloud-based system like the PSET Cloud, the citizens get access to the PSET Cloud, but the tech companies supplement the cost of the access. Because remember, the economic growth is slow, and here we're starting to try to build the economy. People can get their ass into gear, the A into G, and do what they are told by the government. So at this point, the government's still very much in control. They tell the technocrats what their offerings must be. They put their offerings in place. You, as the citizen, have access to the e-offerings, whether it be for e-learning or banking or recruitment or anything, but you do it within what you are told space to do it in, and the technocrats have to obey that. They do obey it because it's massive infrastructure or massive income for them. So slow economy growth, but the government still control. So they pay the technocrats. They make a big bang of money. The country is still then held to a slow economic growth. Still a cautious relationship. And the second option, so I call this the no-tail dog, no opinion citizen. So the citizen just gets told what to do. Please don't take offense that I use the word dog. It's a type of just the way I saw it. And this is where the dogs have no tail. So the citizen has no opinion. Okay, or if they do, they're not listened to. The second is when the government is in bed with the technocrats and the economic growth is slow. So this increases citizen desperation, because the government is doing what the technocrats tell them to do at the technocrats' cost, the way the technocrats want it to work. There's a lot of brainwashing because no thinking is permitted. In this case, the citizens, this leads towards a kind of a 1984 George Orwellian type of dystopia, And, the citizens get hungry, there's food shortages, there's supply chain breakdowns, the citizens are hungry. And when you're hungry, you'll do what you're told as long as you get the scraps, as long as you get the food, like literal food. So this is a cautionary scenario. I call this the tail wagging the dog. Give me my opinion, citizen scenario. And we're seeing, I think if you look at how big the top 5 technology companies are and how they're playing in the USA space, makes you question, the government in bed with the technocrats, what's happening there. I talk about brainwashing because you only see on technology what it is the government tells you can see. There's a lot of, a lot of censorship going on in this kind of space because the technocrats need to ensure that the governments are getting the right message out so that they stay in bed together. So it becomes an interesting scenario over 2030. And this goes, this is kind of the growth over the scenario over the next kind of 8 to 10 years. Limited growth in the economy, limited growth in the country, because as long as it supports the technocrat and the government top level, the rest of the citizens are just there to support them. Interesting place, the tail wagging the dog scenario. Where the economic growth is high, but the technocrats and the government are in bed, you have a sustained increase in social grant systems. So the citizen becomes more reliant on the social grants, and the grants can get paid out. You use big tech to keep the people reliant on the government. So your stamps and your food, your food, supplies and everything is funded by the government through technology. And if you stay within the citizenship, the good citizenship, you will get what you need. More big business and monopolies grow because there's less need for entrepreneurs, because through the big corporates and the big oligopolies and monopolies, they can control where the tax goes, the citizen tax, PAYE, UIF goes to a specific place. They govern it. It's strict. It's quite easy to rake the cash in, and it's all funded by the government and funded by technocrats. And as the people do the work, if you are a good citizen, we will give you more tidbits and we'll give you more work. But if you buck the system and become entrepreneurial and you think a lot, this could cause a bit of discomfort for the governments and the technocrats that are in bed. So that might then stop that kind of growth. It's an interesting space, this place, because the government doesn't really want entrepreneurship. They really want big business, and they really want to be the major employer. And so the citizens kind of kick in where they are, do what you do, use the technologies we give you, don't create your own technologies, don't disrupt what we're comfortable with. Interesting space. This is what I call the where's my tail dog, where the technocrat decides what the responsible citizen looks like. The government agrees with technocrats, and once they define the citizen, you've got to now chase that. So you're kind of looking for your tail, the where's my tail citizen. The last one in this particular bridge too far citizen, it's when the technocrats and the government have cautious relationships and the economic growth is high. So here you have increased entrepreneurships and jobs are on the rise because entrepreneurs are focusing on their communities, their areas, the municipalities. They're creating the jobs for the municipalities, and they're relying less on national government. Just take potholes, for example. The local communities start employing the local people in the local municipal companies to fill the potholes because taxes flowing to the municipality, not to national government, and things are getting fixed fairly quickly. More businesses are popping up, hiring more people to make sure things happen. There's a lower need for big business as an employer, so there's less control of the big business area, and more community initiatives and increase in citizen happiness because more companies are growing, smaller groups of people are enabling the municipalities to grow, become successful, assist each other, and basically the whole growth structure changes. In this case, the tech is the slave, so technology from the technocrats is created so that the end user, being the citizens and entrepreneurs, can use the technology to grow their industry within their municipality and obviously grow from there. And everyone has access to that. And this is where the PSET Cloud becomes incredibly valuable because you can either develop your skill for your municipal area or your region and nationally, but it's a different thinking. But you can also find the people who are developing their skill. You can place your own company competency requirements into the PSET Cloud, people can get in there. Their learning becomes generic or less generic and more specific to where you are. It's a more detailed view and a far stronger scenario. And I call this a waggy tail dog. It's the entrepreneur citizen. And this is what grows a country, an economy, and we see a far bigger togetherness where we are more focused on the municipal community-based structures than we are on national government, which then shifts the entire monetary scenario. This is a bridge too far scenario. Very interesting concept. As you roll out, please make sure you read the PSET scenarios paper and see if you agree or disagree with what I've said. And just hit me in the comments and tell me what you think. Remember, P4P, we are the leading e-assessment and e-portfolio platform in Africa. Feel free to contact us if you need some help with creating portfolio-driven work, whether it be for your e-learning, learnership, training scenarios to tick the boxes with the CETAs, and you can take your e-assessment digital, or if you need some assistance with taking your internal mobility, your job profiles into an e-assessment space, creating portfolio-driven KPAs and KPIs, so that your applied competence can be measured a lot easier. Or if you're a governing body and you want to enable your CPD through portfolios, or you want to enable your designation through portfolios, not just written exams and you have certificates, give us a shout. We can help you with that. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments.